The Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Oleksiy Reznikov, said that Russia would launch a new attack. Russia is said to be planning a major offensive to coincide with the first-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine. Oleksiy Reznikov said the Ukrainian armed forces believed new large-scale military action by Russia would occur in the coming weeks. We thought, bearing in mind Russia, live in symbolism, they would try something. Ukraine recently renewed calls for fighter jets to help protect the country from airstrikes. Previously, Germany, the United States and Britain agreed to send tanks to them. Oleksiy Reznikov said Russia had mobilized around 500,000 troops for a potential strike. In September 2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the general mobilization of around 300,000 conscript troops. According to Putin, this is necessary to ensure the country's territorial integrity. Responding to this, Oleksiy Reznikov said the actual number recruited and deployed to Ukraine could be much higher. Officially they announced 300,000, but when we saw the troops on the border, according to our assessment there were much more, Oleksiy Reznikov told France's BFM network, as reported by the BBC. Quoted from The Guardian, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that everyone wants the conflict in Ukraine to end. However, Western support for Kyiv played a significant role in Russia's approach to the campaign. Sergei Lavrov said Moscow has plans to shadow pro-Ukrainian events orchestrated by Western countries and allies around the world to mark the invasion of Ukraine. Still reported by CNBC, Sergei Lavrov said Russian diplomats were working on something to ensure Western-led events were not the only ones getting the world's attention. On the other hand, in Ukraine, search and rescue teams worked through the night to find survivors of a deadly rocket attack on a residential building in Kramatorsk, eastern Ukraine. On Thursday, more explosions were heard in the city. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged the European Union to impose more sanctions on Russia. Volodymyr Zelensky said he had discussed a new sanctions package with von der Leyen. He said the pace of the European Union's sanctions campaign against Russia had slowed down a bit. Meanwhile, he said, Russia has stepped up its pace to adapt to sanctions. In addition, more than a dozen top EU officials, including the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, arrived in Kyiv on Thursday. They also promised greater military, financial and political assistance. This moment is a symbolic walk meant to highlight support for Ukraine ahead of the first anniversary of the Russian invasion.